Hi everybody and welcome to a new series. I thought I would do cheap EVs, and so these are the cheapest new EVs to buy in the Northeast. So I may not have a Northeast accent, sorry guys, I'm from Halifax in Yorkshire, which hopefully counts as the North, definitely not the Northeast though. But we've moved up to Whitley Bay and I've made the Whitley Bay EV Society to try and promote different ways of being able to charge a car or live with a car if you don't have a home charger, since I live on a terrace street, and you might have seen a few of those episodes, look them up. But we're going to highlight all the cheap, brand new, discounted EVs that you can get available. And so people might not know about these huge discounts you can have, but here we have the cheapest one in the Northeast is the MG ZS EV. You can get it for less than £20,000, you get it for £19,490. See if you can knock off an extra £490 off that, perhaps. We'll see. But it's a whopping 12 grand off new for this MG ZS EV. Now, the thing about the MG ZS EV is that it is getting a refresh soon. It's been cancelled and they're making a new model. As you can see, I'll make myself a bit smaller, right? Let's do that, we're blocking off half the picture. Here you go. As you can see, it is a standard looking boxy SUV type thing. It's got a 51 kilowatt hour battery that in the summer could get you 250 miles easily. In the winter on a highway, if it's very cold, you might be getting less, about 180 or something like that. But it's a reasonable looking car. It's the same as the petrol version of this. Luckily, the EV has a flat floor in the back. So even though it shares a platform with its combustion engine car, they have engineered out the transmission tunnel. So I googled this and I checked, and there is no transmission tunnel, and it looks fairly flat there. Not sure I love the cloth interior, nothing against cloth interiors, but this looks a little dated to me. But taste is taste, and this is a bit of a bargain. The infotainment looks okay, standard steering wheel, standard driver's binnacle with a speedo. Why doesn't the Tesla have that? I don't know. And you've got a spinny thing to change your gears. Don't know why. And it looks like you've got a few buttons. Not everything's on the screen. You've got a few buttons for this or that. You can quickly put your defogger on for your windscreen, but not all climate control is down there. Some of that you've got to do on the screen. But it looks okay. I think it looks a lot better on the outside than it does on the inside. It's a lovely blue paint as well. So that one is available from Croxdale MG. Where is that? Durham, 23 miles away from where I am. Now, I've not covered this before. This is the DS3. This is like the posh Citroen brand with the diamonds. So I don't know if you've ever seen this displayed anywhere else before. You can get a similarly huge discount off this, £14,000. I wonder if DS or Citroen are struggling to sell enough EVs to meet the EV mandate, and so they're giving you a huge discount. There's not that much pictures here, but I can get a few from EV Database for you. And the diamonds is the themes. Diamonds are forever. Diamonds are CS or Citroen. DS or Citroen apparently. Little screen, big buttons in this diamond fashion. It's got a strange cutout on the window, if we can see that. So the rear window is quite small. It does make it look a bit more unique, but I think it's the same platform as things like the Mokka, etc, etc. And so they're claiming that 232 miles on a 50 kilowatt hour battery, so that is going to be fairly generous, really. EV Database, I would listen to this real world range. So this is, if you're doing average driving, 185 miles at an average temperature, that's okay. But if you hammer it on a really cold day, 130 miles, that's -10. This is not Nordic stuff. But if you're driving really slowly, commuting around summer, you're going to get 280 miles out of that, which is, it's going to be what? It's at least 5 miles per kilowatt hour. If you've got 50 kilowatt hours times it by 5, 250. So you're getting, it's not quite 6, that'll be 300, so that's over 5.5. Hey, my maths isn't too bad there, is it? So that's the DS3. What else have we got? We've got an MG4. We've got an EC3. I've not covered the EC3 before, but the MG4 again is from Croxdale MG in Durham. Let's have a look at this. This is it's not a bad car. It charges at 130 kilowatts, an LFP battery in the small ones. I think in like, who was it, 50 kilowatt hour ones, but the 60s, the trophies, these 64 kilowatt hours and the 70s are NMCs. And yeah, they're very popular. I see loads of these on the way to work because they're relatively affordable. There isn't that much back room. I'd say there's a little bit less than my Kona. Got a 2020 Kona. The boot is about the same. This I don't think is the biggest interior because a lot of them come with leather. This looks like fabric, but it's a nice simple interior. And in the you can expect them to get a sunroof, which is better than most Hyundai sunroofs because they're quite small, old style ones rather than pan roofs. The screens are quite good, and they've got all the standard things around and about. I don't like these spinny things, but there you go, I prefer a button. But there you are, yeah, that's the MG4. And they're still quite cheap, aren't they? So we're still talking about £21,000, £20,000. These are pretty good prices as far as I'm concerned. So I mentioned the EC3, so this is a brand new car. There's no discounts on this, but they're pitching it as a £21,000 car. 44 kilowatt hour does suggest that there is a fairly big penalty to range, if that's the right way to put it. So let's get the EC3 up. Here we go. So quite a good looking little car, boxy little hatchback. That is a fairly standard thing, and look, the interior looks fairly nice, but Citroen have put lots of bumps on your seat for some reason. If you like a bumpy, boxy thing going up your bum, great. I'm not really sure what they were thinking with that one. They're claiming 199 miles out of a 44 kilowatt hour battery. That's fairly generous. Let's have a look on EV database. I think it actually looks quite good. Who knows why they've done this with the seats, but this looks quite nice. Quite like that two-tone interior as well. That's great. You've got your vents, you've got a screen, you've got other vents. There isn't too many buttons, so that might be a criticism if you like old style interiors. This is it around Paris, presumably, since it's a French brand, but it looks quite good. There's lots of things to like about that, and you've got buttons for your climate control, so that's nice and easy to do while you're driving. So this is a nice, new, good, affordable option. But what's the realistic range? Is it 200? No, it's more like 160. And if you're driving on the highway, it's only 110. So, I mean, this isn't -10 weather. Do read the small print. This is -10. This is like a Nordic weather range. You might get more like 130. Who knows? And if you're really pulling around quite slowly, 245 is realistic. It's can charge at 100 kilowatts. That's acceptable. A 30-minute charge time is okay if it's got double the range. A 30-minute charge time to add only 110 miles is not great. This is why big battery EVs have an advantage, because to charge at the same C rate as in what would be safe for the battery, you can add twice as much power. So this is why 100 kilowatts looks good, but for such a slow battery, such a small battery, it still gives you a 30-minute charge time, versus if you had an 88 kilowatt hour battery, you could do 200 kilowatts and you'd still only have a 32-minute charge time. So that's why small batteries have a little bit of a penalty. So what else is there? Yep, where's the boot? The boot is only 310 litres, but that's not bad if you aren't using the back seats, and it seems like whenever I look at a car there's only one person in it. If you go into the tip, 1,200 litres is pretty good, isn't it? And you've got a big roof rack, so if you want a small car but then have a big roof rack and even tow 500 kilos, maybe you can get a good trailer tent or something like that. Maybe you can still make use of this. So that's not bad, is it? What else have we got? MG5. So my mum has this car, not in this model year. This is a refresh model year to make it look a little bit smarter. But let's have a look what we've got here. We've got a whopping 12 grand off this. Absolutely insane. 61 kilowatt hour battery. That's good for a pretty good range. Maybe get 250, definitely 200 out of this. They have smartened up and made it look a little bit more modern. Although, you know, it's in a state, they're not the most popular these days, but very useful and practical. The headlights look okay. You've got a roof rack. There was some controversy when it first came out in the UK about whether you could use these or not, but you can. You get 70 kilos or at least 50 kilos on them. My mum's does have a not flat floor, does have a transmission tunnel, but looks like they've engineered that out on the new model year, so that's good. They don't like their sat nav, they don't rate it, but this is a new year and it might be a little better. Certainly looks okay, but not amazing, and Apple CarPlay does work, and Android Auto as well, and the interior looks okay, and they've got a much nicer interior than me in my Hyundai Kona actually, with the sort of leather-esque stuff. But yeah, looks okay. Nice cup holders and all that sort of jazz to make it a usable thing. The door flaps have a habit of breaking, and actually when my mum went to get these fixed, they ordered the wrong part, so there was a delay for actually getting it fixed, and they were gaffer taping it shut for a while. But who should I mention? James and Kate EV, maybe I'll put a link to their channel there. You might know them from Twitter as well, as they're always demonstrating their work vans. They've had MG5 made into roving mechanic work vans with a conversion kit, the seats taken out and all their mechanic stuff put it in the back, and they swear by them. They're doing hundreds of thousands of miles, and the batteries have, you know, all stayed about 92% after 140, 150, 160 miles, which is incredible. So yeah, these are very reliable, can be very cheap to run, especially if you've got home charging. 20 grand. Can you get a new petrol car that is an estate for 20 grand? I'm not sure you can, because things like the Fiesta were sort of 20 to 30 anyway, so it's absolute bargain on these EVs. So yeah, Croxdale MG in Durham, why don't you go down there if you're in the market for a cheap EV estate. Wonderful. What else have we got? The Mokka E. Haven't covered the Mokka E on the channel before. This is in a rather brilliant blue. I think they're on the same platform as the DS3, but they're not design stuff, because it's Stellantis, isn't it? Stellantis own all these brands. It's a fairly good looking one. You can get them in super bright green. This is a lovely bright blue. It's got an okay sized boot, although it is a fairly compact crossover type thing. The screens, this all looks absolutely standard. This, you can see it's got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, it's got reversing cameras, it's got physical buttons for your temperature, and looks like you've got dual climate control there, to be honest, which is a good thing. Do you have a flat floor? I think you do. That's good. Oh god, why have they put it up that way? That's making me I've got to strain my head to look at that. But anyways, nice light interior, isn't it? Looks absolutely okay, standard, good stuff from Vauxhall. Very popular, I think Fully Charged Live have them. And, 15 grand off. What an absolute bargain. Excuse the cup of tea. You can get these from Gateshead. Shall we look at what range you get in this? It's be about the same as the DS3, I bet. So what does the DS3 get? It says it gets 185 real range, lowest 130, highest 280. Let's have a look for the Vauxhall Mokka EV database. What do we get? 160 real world range, so a little bit less because it's perhaps boxier, taller. 115 minimum, 245 max. So that is not too shabby. Very nice Vauxhall Mokka E. Let me know if you want to see that covered for salary sacrifice versus lease versus getting it second hand with a whopping 15 grand off. And the EV mandate fine for not selling enough EVs to meet your 22% is only 14 grand, or is it 15? It might be 14,000 euros, so, or 15,000 euros, so it might only be 14,000. So they're really trying to shift these for some reason. I wonder if they're gonna post a refresh or something. So yeah, have a look at Vauxhall and Gateshead if you're after a Mokka E. Absolutely, I think it's just got delivery mileage, absolute bargain that is. So have a look at that. More DS3s, EC4s, the bigger sibling, supposed to be quite efficient. £33,000 we're heading up towards there now. Oh, that's an advert. Ugh, out of order. More EC3s, more MGs with slightly less off, 11 grand. Loads of different cars you can get here cheap in the northeast. Ooh, a long range trophy, but it's got a nice paint. Quite like the red, quite like the orange. That's quite good looking, isn't it? Loads of MGs that you can get if you want. Another EC4. Their adverts. More DS3s. More MG5s in a lighter paint trim. The first E Corsa. I don't like it in black. I think there's one later down. So this is a twin. This is the E2008 is a twin car for the Corsa. Sorry, black paint really just looks dull to me. But yeah, in green it looks quite good, doesn't it? I have had an E-Corsa, which is the twin of this Peugeot, as a courtesy car. It was okay, the screens weren't amazing, but it was very usable. It wasn't as powerful as mine. Mine's only 150 kilowatts or 200 horsepower. It was a bit less, but it was much better than their petrol car offering, which often are very underpowered 1 litre things. And it was okay, and it's claiming 225 miles. I think in the dead of winter, the one that I had was claiming sort of 185, and it was quite a nice little car. But I think Ginny from electrifying.com had one of these as a long-term loan and really liked them, and they're nice. And actually the kids loved the one that we had because it's bright orange. They were very excited about the car colour, so if that's important to you, and you can get, you know, 4 grand off, not to be sniffed at, £24,000. I'm not sure you get many cars for less than that these days, so that is, we're nearing price parity, aren't we? Shall we have a quick look up how much a Peugeot 208 is new? That's not petrol. I'll get rid of the E, that might help. Let's have a look. Peugeot, how much do you want to sell a 208 for? Hybrid or petrol? Yeah, go away. What's your price? Configure and order. Price and spec. They're not making it easy, are they? Crikey Moses. Okay, right, so the 1.2 litre is 23,000. So essentially the EV, they wanted to sell at 32, but they ain't gonna, are they? Because they're all on the road. Here we go, 32, 30, 33. But what they're actually selling it for, because they can't quite shift it, is 23. So the active must be a lower trim or something that they're talking about there. So you can actually get it for the same price as a 1.2 litre petrol. Maybe you should be haggling the petrol car down some, don't know. But they might not want to, because for every petrol car, for every car, if they're not meeting their 22, and next year it'll be 23 or 24 or 25% EV target, it's going to charge them, they're going to get a £14,000 fine or thereabouts. So they're not going to want to give you any money off the petrol car, even though they might be making a reasonable profit out of it. They're going to put all the discounts on the EVs to help people buy EVs, which is why I made this channel, or the Will You Pay EVs Society, because I really want to get the solutions to enable people to get an EV, you know, the on-street parking, turbocharged solutions, the Trojan EV, little ones you can put in, etc, etc. Let's get the solutions that enable people to take up clean transport. What else have we got? The BYD Dolphin. I haven't covered this. What minute are we on? 20 minutes. We'll wrap it up soon. But the BYD Dolphin, they were quite nice. You can get, especially the high trim, the high quality interior, looks really good. You can get them in pink, you can get them in purple. I'm sure the kids would love it if I did that. I didn't know that they had a 44 kilowatt hour battery. I'm sure there's a bigger one than that. I think they do a 60. They do a 60. They do a 60. I'd probably go for the 60. I think that this is a little bit too low. You've got to either really want to be into EVs to get a 44 kilowatt hour battery, I think, or be really price conscious. But £24,000, that's, you know, that again, same price as the Peugeot 208 petrol 1.2 litres. There'll be more power, these will be quicker, etc. The Corsa looks good in red. You can get that from Shiremore, so that's not far from me. So that'll be Silverlink Vauxhall will be doing that one. So yeah, I think we'll wrap that up. Now we're getting to £25,000. These are the cheap EVs in and around Whitley Bay / the Newcastle coast. These are the offers you've got. You've got Mokkas, you've got Peugeots, you've got MGs, and you've got Citroens. So let me know what you'd be interested in. These are all the brand new ones. Let's do some second-hand ones. Let's see what we can get for less than £5,000 in the northeast. Let's do a 10,000. Let's do a 15,000, and let's see what great second-hand cars we can get for 20,000 as well. Let's see what's available on the second-hand market. Okay, right, thank you everyone. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you would be interested in, what was your favourite EV there, and what do you want to see on the second-hand videos. Okay, right, I'll do an update on this. I guess, you know, what do you like about this channel? What do you want to see? Let me know and I'll try and shape it. Because I initially did it to cover chargers, then I've done it to cover home charging solutions if you don't have parking, etc. Like me. I'm on a terrace street, I've got my charger at the back in the bin alley. And now I've started covering like what can you get in cheap salary sacrifice EVs, etc. But as Edward said, I'm mostly covering all the posh ones that I'm salivating over rather than the cheap affordable ones, which is why I've done this video. So let me know if this is a good thing. What else would you like to see that seems relevant to, I don't know, the northeast? Why not? You know, might as well do a unique selling point rather than anything else, because otherwise we're just doing the same thing as everyone else. So anyway, this has been fun for me. Let me know if you found it fun too. Alright then, ciao everybody.